Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo. Or if it's your first time, welcome to Strategy Gaming Dojo. This is where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And today I have a real treat. I've been really excited for this game to come out. This is Distant Worlds 2, and it follows up on what I think was one of the best 4X games, if not the best 4X game of all time, Distant Worlds Universe. So Distant Worlds 2, they've tried to update the UI, they've tried to do better graphics, they've just tried to make it a more pleasing experience. They've kept a lot of the gameplay the same. I say the same. I mean, there have been improvements, but if you play Distant Worlds Universe, you'll understand what's going on here. Um, and I really, really am excited for this one. So rather than me talk a whole lot, I thought I'd bring you immediately into the universe and see the game. I know sometimes people get to talking, you're like, just show me the game, man. Well, here's the game. We're in here. And first of all, I'd like to thank Matrix for sending me this game a little bit early. Now, this is the beta build, right? This game is not coming out until March. So I only have this one till February 15th, and then they'll take it back, and then they'll send me a new kind of release version a little bit early, and we'll start doing tutorials, playing the game, and whatnot. This, again, is the beta, so there are things that are going to change, things that'll be updated and improved, and we can only really look at or play around with two different factions. They're the only two that are fleshed out. Now, they're two of the most popular factions from Distant Worlds, and that is the Akdarians and the Mortallans. And I've got the Akdarians up here. They like ocean planets, and here we have Issawan 3, which would be our home planet. It's a deep ocean planet, and you can see the pop-ups here a little bit. I just want to show you the graphics before we go and look at other things and, just give you kind of a feel. So you say, well, gosh, I can only see my home world, and you've got some ships that are building here around your home world. You've got some asteroids that are unexplored. We could maybe find some minerals there or other resources in the game. But let's start zooming back and see what we've got here. Okay, well, we've got Prius or Prius, sure, rocky metallic moon. It's a moon going around our planet here. And as we go back a little further, we see we're in the Issawan system. Okay, good to know. And now this comes into focus. This is the star Issawan that is at the center of our system. So we're Issawan 3. I bet you this is. No, I was going to say it's Issawan 1. I guessed incorrectly. There's Issawan 2. And as we come over here, this is unexplored, Issawan 5, so on and so forth, all revolving around this sun. Now, one thing I always think is cool about this game is, I mean, the planets move around the star. And so, I mean, it looks really cool as the planets get out and moving around. But let's go back even further. And now you can see our solar system here and all of the different planets and star that we need to explore. There will also be asteroid fields and other relics that you'll find out here. But let's go back even further. And as a matter of fact, let's just take this off. We found some undersea ruins. Okay, that's just a generic thing you're going to get, but we're going to come back to all this later. We're just going to dismiss that for now and keep coming back. Okay, well, we've constructed a starship. Fantastic. You start off that way. Let's pause this so we can look at it. So here is the Issawan system. This is, of course, the population. Are the people happy? Can you refuel here? The different resources that are in the Issawan system. But let's keep going back because this is, our home system. And let me just say, there are a few stars in this spiral galaxy. I set this up to be 2,000 stars, which, as of now, before modded, is the maximum number of stars you can have. But as you can see, I picked random. We were just placed out here in this spiral galaxy. And down here, you can zoom to the galaxy level. That's kind of where we are. You can go to our region. All right, well, here's the Issawan region. You can see all of the different star systems out here. Let's go down to our system, unexplored system, unknown star. Back up a little bit. There we go. and then we can click there on ISWIN. If we want to go to our star, we can double click that. It brings it up over here in the box, whatever you're clicked on. Here's our home world, ISWIN 3. We can get back to that, or the moons. This is the entire system down here. It tells you uh, different things that you have, different ships that you're building. You can see that pop up right there. Okay. But this is our home planet. Down here, all of the information, you see what kind of planet it is. If there's anything on the planet that needs explored, you see it here. You've got your happiness level. Oh, I'm sorry, this is development. You've got development here, corruption, the amount of money. This has an incredibly modeled economic system. Um, you have civilian ships, and those are largely outside of your control. So you have a full civilian economy. You'll see little ships buzzing in and around here, mining, going to pick up ore and stuff like that, and they will then take it back to your spaceport. You collect taxes on that, so you have a full civilian economy. You can also see, what's the main faction here, Akdarian. See how many of those there are. You can see the different resources we have here on the planet, the facilities, the troops, what we're building, so on and so forth. And we're going to get into all of that. I'm going to really go around and we'll also start to play a game. But I wanted you to see the graphics first. Now, another great thing about this game is you can automate anything, or you can have manual control over almost anything. And so it's really up to you. Do you just want to be the head of the empire and kind of give basic general orders, or do you want to get down and control individual ships? You can do that. You can have the mining. Let's say you don't like mining for some reason. You can have the AI do the mining. Let's say you do like mining. You can do all the mining yourself if you want. You've got explorer ships. You've got all kinds of different battleships. You've got troop carriers. You've got troops. This game is absolutely incredible. The first one was incredible, and this is made by people that really loved that game. And it's Eric Reitens over at Matrix, and any game he's involved with is fantastic. And they've just they're not trying to completely, rebuild everything. They're just trying to improve what needed to be improved. And a lot of that was UI improvements, and this certainly is better. Just what I've seen and what I've played around with in this very limited time so far, I really, really like. So let's get out of here. Okay, and I'm going to exit to the desktop. And why is he going to do that, you may ask? Well, I wanted to show you some of the stuff that they sent along for us to look at. Okay, and this is just, some goodies that they sent along, I guess, as part of their package, their promo package. But I thought they were kind of cool, and so I thought, why not? I'll just show you everything. So we've got Akdarians, Mortallans. These are the two factions right now in the beta build that you can actually play, or that are at least fleshed out. I guess you can play the other ones, but Matrix asked me not to, so we're not going to. Akdarian artwork. Okay, well, it's a pretty picture. All right, and you can see the Akdarians have a certain look to their ships that will stay consistent, but we'll see that here in a minute. And then you have the Mortallans in the red here. They're kind of a reptilian species, and they've got the red in the background there. Let's go to faction ships infographic. Oh, this is what I really wanted to see. Akdarian faction ships. So these are all of the different ships in the game that you can build. Now, one interesting thing about this is if you like builders type games, you can design every ship. So you'll have something called a small spaceport. You can design that exactly the way you want with individual components. I'm talking down to which engines it runs, and you place them in the spaceport. You have to have habitation pods. You have to. I mean, you can get down to that level. It's unbelievable. But you see small spaceport, large spaceport, medium spaceport. Okay, destroyer, cruiser, battleship, carrier, troop, transport, large and small. You've got colony ship, construction, research, mining, exploration. You've got these different freighter ships, passenger ships. Now, one thing that you can make a lot of money off of is setting up resorts in your area, and tourists will come to look at them. So if you have a really cool planet, they can come look at your planet and you make some money off of them. Tankers, mining ships, escorts, and frigates. This is very generally the kind of ships you can have, but you can customize every single one of these ships based on which research paths you go down or just whatever you think would be cool to put on a ship. You can do it. You can do it. And it really affects how fast they can go, their firepower. We'll get into all of that. We're going to look at this whole game from top to bottom. Don't worry about that. Mortallons, okay, this is what they're shedding. You can tell there's a real difference. And when you see them in space, you can really tell the difference. You zoom in on here, and a Mortallan battleship looks quite different. You can see their spaceports. I kind of like their spaceports, actually. Carriers, battleships, cruisers, all the same general types of ships, but with a different look. And again, you can customize anything that you want. All right. So those were the ships. Let's go to screenshots because I thought these were actually pretty cool too and give you a flavor of what this game will start to look like as you get into it. And you've got the buttons up here. These are kind of your main areas where you give orders and you can build things, etc., etc. Again, we'll get into all of that, but you can see colonies. These would list all of your colonies. All of your colonies have this breakdown from size to quality to development and approval and revenue, whether you're making money, losing money. I mean, these well, let's call them credits. They are the most important part in the game, really. I mean, they allow you to buy things. You're always trying to get more and more credits, get better ships. You can buy other things. You can buy other resources. There's an incredible number of resources in this game. You can just see here. Here's just kind of an info picture here of some of the resources in this. Uh, System. And then down here you can see, I mean, these are different. You can see all the ones up here. And so there are so many resources in this game, and sometimes you need that one resource to, let's say, allow you to jump into hyperdrive faster or whatever. You'll have to go looking around for it. They really do make a difference in this game. But you can see all of the information, all of the different systems here. And let's go to a different screenshot. This is your tech tree. I think their tech tree is excellent. It's one of the best tech trees you'll ever play. And they have allowed you to randomize it to some degree, right? So you're if you want to have a different playthrough each time, you're not always sure what you're going to get next. If you find that killer uh, route down the tree, that may not be available to you if you do the randomization. And so you're going to have scientists. You've played these kind of games before, 4X games. You have scientists, they research things. Some of them are better at some kinds of research, some are better at others. And you go down these chains and you try to get better and better stuff. Now you can see here, here's an element, the ion shield. It's got all kinds of different, stats about it. But this individual ion shield, once you have unlocked this and you start producing them, you can put that on a ship if you want. Or, you can customize it and say, well, I want ion shields on, I don't know, your fighters or your battleships, but I don't want them on my transports. Okay, maybe you want a different kind of shield. There's so many options in this game. It's incredible. Let's move on to this screen, which kind of shows your system, it looks like, your home system. And there's all kinds of different places that you can find: Stone Chamber, Grand Pyramid, High Sanctuary. You'll unlock certain things when you find these. You got to go out, you've got to explore, you've got to find this stuff because it'll do certain things for you, for your population. It can make them happy, make them less war weary. I mean, it can do all kinds of stuff. You can get research bonuses. Also, as I said, you can use it as a resort if you want for other peoples to come see it and make some money off of them. So they do have space tourism. Let's go on. Well, you can see things can get quite busy out here once it really gets going. And that's why the automation is so important because if you couldn't automate some of these features, I think the game would be almost impossible to play. Now you can go very slowly, day by day, because it is real-time pausable, right? So it's like a paradox game in that fashion, where you can always come up here and click pause. You can speed it up or slow it down, but it'll click away, click away. Um, but look at this area out here. My gosh. Now, this is more of your sector view. So you have galaxy, then sector, then down to your system, and then ultimately to your home planet. So this is kind of everything out in your sector, different stars and their systems around them. Just incredible, the level and amount of detail there. Screenshot 6, okay, we've got a planetary fighter base here. Fighter build rate, I mean, it comes down to this is seconds in real time, how fast these things will build, how fast they can repair, how much it costs in credits. And so, I mean, you have ground attacks, ground war as well here. It's not just space based. Well, that one's not going to work. Okay, that's fine. It's a DDS image. Akdarian technology here you can see uh, a ship. I don't know why they showed this ship in particular, but you can see all of the different things here: diplomacy, military, that you can control across here. This is mining, this is construction, this is research, this is military, this is exploration. So all of these things going on. Let's see what 8 is. You also have your civilian economy. I talked about that a little bit. So this is a spaceport, and you can see the little civilian ships out here that are waiting or queuing into the spaceport, it looks like, and they'll come in here and these only have two docking bays, one on this side, one on this side. You've got to build bigger ones as you get more and more ships, so more ships can dock there and drop off what they have. And you can see here the Cowering Journey, which is a cargo ship. It's picked up this resource, and it's wanting to come in here and drop them off at your spaceport. You collect taxes on that, but really it's all controlled by your civilians. And the more places you discover and the better they are, the more your civilians will build ships to take advantage of those resources. Screenshot 10, okay, we've got a battle, it appears. We've got an interceptor force, or at least this is our military screen, so we can see our different fleets. You set them up, remind you of War in the Pacific in the way. You set them up into fleets, and then they do different things. I mean, this is interceptor, defenders. You can have things that are more attacking, more defending, and that's what I was talking about when it comes to customizing ships. You can have a ship build that is all offense, all attack. You can have a ship build that's more defensive, if you want, or you can have one that's faster, that gets the hell out of Dodge if you have a problem. Components, and this I've referenced it many times here so far because I think it's one of the coolest parts of this game. You just don't see this in games really, to where you can get down to this detail of customization. So this one ship here, okay, these are all the different components that are on this ship. All right. Then you can go here and the different things that you've researched and unlocked, you could put them on the ship if you want. You can take things off, but you can see here what they get down to. Assault pod, okay. Atomic Devastator, wow, that sounds cool. Basic cargo bay, basic command center. They also, each component draws so much of your energy, okay? And it also can weigh you down. You need to get the right mix of, what you want it to accomplish versus how much it weighs, because these things weigh so much, it'll slow it down. And you can see here how fast it gets up to speed, what its top speed is, all of these stats here about how fast it can go, how far it can go, so on and so forth. You got to refuel these things, but the level of customization can't be beat, certainly. All right, let's go on to the next one. Resources. Okay, we were talking about that. You can see we have, I think this is a mining ship out here, and it's around this asteroid. We've obviously discovered that it has, that looks like steel to me. I'm just going to call it steel. And it's going to be in here mining it. The Curious Wayfarer, okay? You can see offload at this. It's a mining ship. You can see it right there. You can see its size. You can see its shields here. So it has kind of its basic core. It has shields, what the overall defensiveness of it is. And you can see those things go down as it catches fire or as it gets fire from other craft, its range, so on. So I mean, whatever you want to know. Let's check this one out. Diplomacy. I think that they've tried to make a far more robust diplomacy feature in this. The last one wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but you know how diplomacy is in these 4X games. It's kind of like, you just barter. I'll give you 50 minerals if you leave me alone or something like that. Now, there is some of that, but my understanding is they've tried to make it a little more fulsome. So you will have, a leader. You have characters in this game that actually, have their own certain traits. So from his trait, the colony income gets a plus 10. Our leader here, Udi Wasaga, of course you've heard of him. All research gets a plus 5. Population growth -5. Okay, so he's got all kinds of different traits that you'll see here: good administrator, engineer, labor oriented, isolationist, and that will go into his skills. You also have spies in this game. You can send spies, you have generals, you have scientists. So you have a lot of different kinds of characters here. Here are some of the early on different factions that you can play. Now, I'm sure there will be many, many more, whether from Matrix or modding or otherwise. But early on, it looks like the games is going to release with some basic ones here. And there are more. This isn't all of them, but Xenox, Tekken, Mortalin, we've talked about that. The humans, of course, Hakonish, Bhaskara, Akdarian, we've talked about that. So we can play these two, Akdarian and Mortalin, and we'll probably play the Akdarians. And then here's another screenshot. Well, I'm not really sure what this is showing you. That's new anyway. We got a secluded sanctuary on this world. You can see the beautiful artwork. But anyway, I just wanted to show you those things because I always think the press pass is kind of interesting. So let's go ahead and hit play here. You can see I played for 2.6 hours, so it's not like I'm deep, deep into this game, certainly. But let's pull this up, and we're going to go about setting up a game. And next time when I come back, we'll actually start playing a little bit. But let's go through start a new game, okay? Random seed. All right, well, sure. I don't really, we don't really know what that means at this point. Galaxy shape. You can do classic galaxy. They have a spiral shape with two large nebula clouds or cloud arms winding out from the center. You can do a spiral galaxy. They have what? More spirals? Two-arm spiral formation moving towards the edge of the galaxy. Star formations taper away, becoming less dense. You have elliptical. You have ring, no center. You have ring, dense center. Dual, no ring. Dual ring, dense center. Even clusters, varied clusters, irregular. All right, well, that gives you a pretty nice selection of different kinds of galaxies. You can show how many, or you can pick how many stars you want here. The default is 700. I had put it on 2000 just to show you that. The density here, normal, if you want a real fast-paced action game where you run into people right away, dense, to sparse to very sparse. Galaxy size, 4 by 4 sectors, 6 by 6 is the default. 8 by 8, it's disabled at 700, and 10 by 10 is also disabled at 700 because it would get way too spread out. It would take you forever to get from place to place in some circumstances. But we'll just keep it on the default, 6 by 6. Okay, so we're going to play 700, spiral. Those are the defaults. And I'm going to keep pretty much everything in the defaults. Galaxy expansion, pre-warp, okay, we want to probably do that. I think it's cool. You really start at the very base. You've got to research this. Now, it's automatically researching this at the start. Okay, starting, empires start with a single small colony and no ships or bases. Build a spaceport, then begin expanding. Um, yeah, so this one, hyperspace, has not been unlocked. This one, you've got to really start right at the start and build a spaceport. Young, You have 2 to 4 colonies, 7 to 8 colonies, 12 to 15 colonies already, and this one's well established. I guess if you wanted to play late game right from the start, you can do that. Galaxy aggression, peaceful, normal, restless, unstable, chaos. Well, restless seems fun. Again, that's the default difficulty. I'll just keep it on normal for these purposes. When we actually play a full Let's Play later on, we may bump that up. But for now, we're going to keep it on normal. Research speed. Let's keep that on normal. Keep the default. Research visibility. Only the next project is visible. So you can't see the whole damn tech tree. And I like that because, you can sit there and game it, start over and over and over, figure out exactly what the perfect tech uh, limb is and go out on that limb and get unbeatable army, right? And that gets a little bit old. But here, our next projects is only visible and random research paths. So this is a good one. Paths between research projects are randomly selected. This means that each game has different ways to unlock new technologies. When combined with blind research, this makes each game a unique research experience. Yes, thank you. Allow tech trading. I go back and forth, and I don't really like tech trading, to be honest with you. I think it's a little gamey because you would never, real life, right? Like, I mean, we're playing fish-like characters, so let's be serious here. But, in the immersion factor, would you really trade some of your good tech? Well, I don't know. I guess if you needed some blaster, maybe you would give up some warp technology or something possible. Pirates. Now, pirates are in this game just like you have pirates in mini games to spice things up without having to cause you to go to war with a whole nother empire, right? It allows you to practice warfare a little bit. So we'll keep those on normal. And how strong are they? I don't know. We'll keep them on normal as well. How close are they to you at the start? We'll keep that on average. Do they respawn or stay dead? I guess this is to constantly be giving you a challenge. I think we're going to let them stay dead. Space creatures. Okay. How many space creatures are present in the galaxy? Many space creatures are dangerous and can pose threats to your ships and bases. However, they may also provide resources. All right. Well, we'll keep that normal. Colonization, colony prevalence. How kind of spread out are they across systems and whatnot? Independent colonies, normal. Independent alien populations are distributed throughout the galaxy at the start of the game. This setting determines how many of these populations exist in the galaxy and how large each of them are. So this is kind of a cool concept, I think. You have these independent groups. They're not really part of an empire. They haven't been colonized. They haven't been taken over. They can actually form their own empire at some point. At least that's how Distant Worlds universe worked. I, of course, have not gotten to that part of the game yet here, but I assume it's the same. So that's normal. We'll keep that. Influence range. This, you put influence on other areas. We'll go into that deeper as we keep moving on here. Colony influence determines your empire territory, i.e., which star systems belong to your empire. And so, how close do you have to have a colony to another star for that to be in your empire? The range limit, if turned on, new colonies will be within the specified distance from one of your existing colonies. This kind of keeps you from, building a colony A, flying all the way to the edge of the universe and doing a B and trying to meet in the middle, right? So that's what it's trying to get against. Stellaris, that used to be a way to play, for instance, because you can essentially have two different empires that are both under your control and meet in the middle, and then you've got a big, massive empire you can't beat. Akdarian. These are our peeps right here. He's a fine looking guy. I don't know. I might give him a little shave there. He's got this. He's got worms growing out of his chin. I never find that attractive, but Akdarian women go crazy. Well, for all I know, this is a woman. I guess we'll find out. Agdarians are highly industrious, semi-aquatic marine mammals, and I said we're going to play them. We'll look at both them and the Mortallans because those are the two they want us to look at. They have large web hands and feet, making them excellent swimmers. However, their hands are also quite dexterous, and they are equally happy living out of water. Agdarians are intelligent, peaceful, and friendly. It was a very, it's a very popular group, the Agdarians, because you don't have to just fight it out, slug it out. They can do other things. They have a rich culture that focuses on the hybrid nature of their living environment, encompassing both water and land. They excel in building. Now, this kind of stuff is important, right? And we'll see it in the modifiers, but they tell you here, without you even looking at the numbers, they excel at building highly maintainable starships. So it's not going to cost as much to repair them. And if we look down here, you can see this. We get a research bonus because they're intelligent, construction research because they're intelligent, ship maintenance savings plus 5%. You may say, well, that's not, a massive amount. That can actually, over the course of a game, with the number of ships you're going to have, that can make a huge difference. Construction speeds positive, ship energy savings also positive. All of these things extremely important and good bonuses to have. You can see the colonization modifiers over here. We like ocean worlds, right? Well, look at us. We look like we would like ocean worlds. We do not like sandy desert, rocky desert, desert savannas, but we really, really like deep oceans, all right? And then you can see their personality over here, aggression, -10. Okay, so we're not very aggressive. We're more cautious. We're dependable, and diplomacy, our dependability is going to matter whether people will trust us or not. Reproduction rate plus 6%. Well, of course, like every other 4X game, the more you can reproduce, the better off you are, no doubts. They excel in building highly maintainable starships. Their technology includes the advanced turbo thruster engine. Okay, that sounds fast. This engine component is extremely fuel efficient, allowing Akdarian starships to use less fuel and travel further. Well, that's why we get energy savings. Akdarians are famous for cultivating Nifthus seaweed. Ooh, that sounds good. From which they make Nifthus wine. Well, that actually does sound good. Akdarians grow enormous forests of the seaweed deep beneath the oceans. They regularly harvest it and then slowly ferment it into a superbly smooth wine. Okay, they are also masters of underwater construction, building vast and elaborate underwater cities. These cities have many levels, some of which reach far down into the vast depths of the ocean they inhabit. At the deepest levels, Actarians seek out precious resources like the rare Eucantium pearl. Actarians also inhabit the small island and shallow coastal areas of ocean planets. Okay, you can see their feelings towards other races. Now, I can tell you, usually this is never going to be positive, right? I mean, they're all a little xenophobic. Even a non-xenophobic group like the Actarians, I mean, they're. Wait till we get to the Mortallans. -20, -20, 30, 40, 50. They really don't like Bhaskara. I see why. Bhaskara probably like oceans. Well, they're insects. No, they're an insect. Okay, well, they don't like insects. I get that. Um, the Daihoot. Okay, and you can see those down here. Preferred governments, this is important. Technocracy and republics, allowed governments. I mean, they can have other kinds. And your government type really, really matters. Republic, mercantile guild, democracy, feudalism, monarchy, military dictatorship, or a technocracy. Default infantry, this is what your default infantry defender brigade will be made up of. Okay, well, now we know more about the Actarians. I will not go through all of this with the Mortallans, but I'll just give you a little taste of it. Mortallans are a fierce half mammal, half reptile race. They have extremely fast reflexes and ability that can surprise those unfamiliar with them. They are easily provoked by the slightest insult and will pursue an enemy relentless. I was going to say relentlessly until they get vengeance. Mortallans are excellent warriors. Okay, so on and so forth. They have developed a powerful vectoring engine, and we'll get into what's the difference between the thruster we have, the vectoring engine. All of these things do make a difference. They've got different times that it takes to get up to speed, how fast they go once they get there, and they have real differences. Um, they have a simple life, many ancient traditions. Okay. What are they like? Well, they're very aggressive, plus 30. They're not very cautious. They are incredibly dependable, or very dependable if you prefer. Reproduction rate, a little bit lower than the Actarians, plus 5. Their assimilation rate, when you take over other species, that's very slow. With the Actarians, adaptable, right? So they're more willing to allow, they're like the ancient Romans. They allow people into their empire. Colonization modifiers. Okay, what do they like? They like rocky desert. They also like desert savanna. Well, I mean, look at them. They look like they'd want desert, sandy desert, continental, forest. They could live there, but they don't like it. Now, why did we see so many? Well, it wasn't so many more, but different ones for the Akdarians. Well, if it's not listed here, it's zero. It's basically null or base, right? So we didn't see forest. I don't think for the Akdarians we did not. So if they got on a forest, they're fine. There is zero there. These are just bonuses or penalties. Colonization minimum quality. So these different planets will have a quality level. They've got to at least have this. I don't believe the Actarians had that at all. No, they didn't. Okay. And so they're a little more adaptable, certainly. The Mortallans are going to find planets that they just can't settle on because it's not a high enough quality. What bonuses do they get? Well, you can see here war wariness. These are warlike creatures, right? That's why some people like to play them. Construction research, weapons, armor, mining rate is quite a bit higher. Ship maneuvering, ground attack, troop recovery. You can see very militaristic here. Their diplomacy not great. Damage control, ship maintenance. Okay. As you can see, these are actually a little bit higher. Now, or there's nothing that goes above 50%, but they certainly have more 50%, including nobody likes the insects, the Boscara, Xenox. There's a number of people they don't like, including the Atuk. Do we like the Atuk? Only negative 30. Okay. So on and so forth. We've looked at that. They prefer military dictatorship or feudalism. Allowed governments, they have several. Their defender force, I think, is fairly close to what ours is. To infantry, I mean, it's the same size, but I didn't really look through this for us. I saw 140, 140. Yeah, see, their attack and defense is 140. Our base is 90. Well, that makes sense. They're more of a warlike creature. Maintenance 200. You can see armor, evasion, and whatnot. That's 25%. What is it for the Mortallans? Well, that's also 25%, but it's really this is the difference. Their base units are just stronger. Okay, our empire and government. Well, do I like this flag? Not for the act. Oh, I picked on the Mortallans. Well, we don't want to do that. Let's go to the Akdarians. I was going to say we need a blue flag, right? This obviously with modding will be very fleshed out. We'll get cooler stuff as time goes on. We'll just stick with that one. Why not? And I think we'll play Republic. We could go through all of these and see the different bonuses, but it told us their preferred government choice is Republic. Their government's led by a head of state who's usually elected. The head of state, often called the president, serves for a set term after which a new president is elected. This may act while the president is elected. This may actually happen indirectly, where a council of some sort is elected by the people, and this council elects the president. They're very similar to democracies and usually hold comparable ideals. Citizens of republics typically enjoy many freedoms and liberties. Republics invariably divide governmental power carefully between the three branches. The president controls the executive, while, okay, so on and so, well, what is the civics class? Let's move on. We're going to be a republic. That's our flag. Let's call this the AC supremacy. We're the Actarians. Let's be the AC supremacy. Okay, your starting situation, home system, normal, expansion, starting, tech level, pre-war, starting location, random. That all looks fine. We're going to play by the defaults. So it'll put us somewhere out here on this 700 star system. Other empires, we're going to have 12 other ones. As you can see here, well, I don't know. I have no idea how high up here you can go, but let's just keep it on the default and they'll auto generate. We could put them out here. If we turn this off, we could build our own, right? We could build our own opponents, or if you're going to play hot seat with somebody or something, or play against somebody, you can. This would be a hard game to play hot seat. Yeah, not hot seat, but if you're going to play against somebody else, eventually, you could set things up the way you want. We're just going to auto generate 12 victory conditions. We'll go into this. We're not going to play all the way to the end of the game on this build, and so I'm not going to go through all of the victory conditions. But territory, population, economy, you have specific race victory conditions if you want those. The different thresholds you have to reach, how many years you can speed it up and say you've got to get there in 10 years, time limit years. You could turn that on, but we're going to have those off. off, general story events on, race specific story events on, and colony events on. We want all of that. And let's build our galaxy. I'm so excited to play this game. I really can't say that enough, can I? Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure we're paused, which we will be. There will be a message up. Here we are, the Act Supremacy. Our faction is known as the Act Supremacy. Our government is Republic. We are Akdarian, who are typically careful. Akdarian have natural skills in all research, construction, ship maintenance savings, ship construction speed, and ship energy savings. Our leader is Osan Thonda. Okay, skilled. Okay, this is important. He gives you a bonus to Shield's research. So while he's president, we may want to prioritize that. Our home colony is Omseja, a deep ocean planet in the Marilia system. Nearby is the gas giant planet Marilia 5. Also nearby is the carbonaceous moon Urtit. Urtit. I'm just going to say, I like that name. I don't know why. Urtit. Sure. Okay. And now we zoom into our home planet, and you can see up here, it clicked on for a millisecond and then went to pause, right? And so we would have to hit this to play again. Or if you go through this message, it will automatically start to play. Here's the star date. It's the year 2754, January 5th. It goes by the old Julian calendar, right? 1/5/2754. All right. Um, okay. The ocean of stars. We can kind of look here. We can look at our home planet, Omsasia. It's 52% developed. You can see 2.5 stars there. 2 billion people, right? Unless my math is off, I think that's 2 billion people. 57%, that's the development. The quality is at 52%. And then it's got 53%. It's got some resource there, but we don't know what it is yet, and we'll get into that. All right. You can see here Marilia 5 and moons. Well, where's our moon? Let's back up here a little bit. Do we have a moon? No, it doesn't look like we have anything rotating around us. This is Urteat. I think Urteat goes around this, but we'll see once they start to take off. But let's go back here, and I'm just going to take you through the UI a little bit here as we do it. If we wanted to go, so I clicked on Urteat, right? It's unexplored. And you can see here, carbonaceous moon, 3000, 3K. Okay. Um, you can see the quality down there, the diameter of it. Okay, let's say I wanted to go see that. How could I do it? Well, right here, you could double click. Do you see the single click as well? So let's back up again. Here's Big Marilia 5, the gas giant. This is the normal view. Let's click once. All right, it centers it for you. Let's double click. Then you get in up close. Same thing with the moon out here. See, you can't really double click from there. You have to come down here and then it gets close up for you there. Or down here, we go to our planet, as you see it there, Omsasia. Oh, it's a moon. It is a moon. Okay, we're a moon. Got it. Um, yeah, so Marilia 5 is the planet. We're actually on a moon. So I double click that and it brings that up. I guess I could have seen Deep Ocean Moon. There it is. Let's read over here. The Ocean of Stars. In the ancient Akdarian undersea city ruins, we've made a curious discovery. The great ocean of stars awaits us. What or who will we find there? In centuries past, our ancestors built the great undersea ruins that still reveal their secrets to today. Their works were for many generations beyond us. Their ultimate fate unclear. Blah 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 blah. Take me to the ancient Akdarian undersea city ruins. Okay, because we will probably find something there, and it tells us we have found technology that has advanced our understanding of early warp field experiments. We have found technology that advances our understanding of research labs. These ruins have provided the following colony bonuses: +9 colony development, +4 scenery, which helps your happiness. So let's now dismiss that, and you can see you get your messages here. Let's pause. Whoops, let's pause. You can see you get messages up here in a very paradox-like fashion. And I mean that as a compliment. I like this, right? We have our first starship. Now, we did not build that. That's okay. They just want you to have one. So rather than have you go through here and try to figure out how the hell and a bunch of times going by, they go ahead and give you a few right at the start. We have constructed our first starship, the Solitary Horde. Okay, this event marks the beginning of our return to the stars. We must continue to expand and explore our solar system, build more ships to establish a thriving solar empire. Well, we certainly will. Okay, we still got this on pause. And you see here, new starship constructed. And I really like this, but if you right click them, they go away. There you go. So you just right click, left click to read them. Where is our starship? Well, we have a constructor ship here, the Friendly Scout, that is under construction. I told you, you get three at the start. You get an explorer ship, and this is that solitary horde here, and we can zoom way in here. It's right by the rings. There we go. Oh, I thought we could see it a little better. Well, here comes the rings again. Um, you can see the solitary horde here. This is our exploration ship. It's an exploration traveler. Okay, and we'll want this to go out and start exploring. You may find that shocking. Now, if you hold down the center mouse key, you can rotate around here. And let's go look at our other ships. See, they're always kind of lit up a little bit so you can find them. The Surly Victory, that is a mining ship, okay? It is under construction, and we'll talk more about that. We'll also talk about designing ships. What is this? Ancient Akdarian spaceport, okay? It's abandoned. All right. Well, there's going to be more to come with that. I can already tell you that much. And then the final ship is this constructor. So this is a construction ship. We have exploration, construction. What was this? Cargo ship? Yes, it's a mining ship. Okay. So you start with these three just so you're not out here with absolutely nothing, right? Um, And let me just hit play for a second so you can see how time clicks by. On the slowest, you can also hit the space bar. Each one of those is 1 day. And you can see kind of the pace 112, 113. We're going to pause that because, man, we've got too much to do to waste time. But we're going to do that next time. I just want to give you a flavor of the game, set it up. And when we come back next time, we will start getting into this beta build. Not all the way done, but it looks like they're really, really close. I haven't noticed anything that is crazy so far as like, oh, why in the world did this not work or something like that. Let's see, Axe Supremacy. Okay, I guess I already had one named Axe Supremacy. Let's get rid of that one. I played about 4 years in. Let's delete that one. We've got our game now, and we'll come back. We're going to play it. Nope, don't want to delete it. I'm out of here. All right, thank you so much. Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you next time.